Matty Balls. The most bizarre music conspiracy theories, boy. By my boy Matty Balls on some shit, man. You know, let me go ahead and light this bitch up. Oh, now we all know it be a lot of fucking music conspiracy theories. Oh, this art Satan this or yeah do this. Well, I done heard it all before. Dirt sacrifice Vaughn, clone this. You know, come on, Chad. You know the classic. But you feel me? We here. That don't matter. You feel me? And let's not, you know, make it a big fucking deal. Stop being dumb and use your fucking brain. You feel me? Y'all ass be what the fuck? Y'all ass be overdoing it. You feel me? Let's get into
From Kanye West being cloned and controlled by his personal trainer to Death Grips being involved in the tragic bombing at the Ariana Grande concert, there are a lot of conspiracy theories revolving around music. So today I have gathered 6 of the most bizarre music conspiracy theories, starting off with the Michael Jackson wore a mask theory. Also, if you aren't aware, this is a part 2 to a video that I made about a month ago, and in that video I was pretty dismissive of the theories. So I'd like to apologize right now to all the truth seekers out there that I offended by my video. I now believe all of those theories. And real quick before I get into the new theories in this video, let's first hear a word from our sponsor. I'm very excited to say that this video is brought to you by Manscaped, the premium brand for men's grooming and hygiene products across the globe. This is a product that I've actually been using for quite a while, and I'm a big fan.
I ain't gonna lie, boy. A nigga needs some Manscaped, man. I ain't gonna lie. Nigga kind of wolfing down. I know you thinking like, come on, boy, TMI, look. I can shave. It's like, I ain't about to get no, I ain't finna, you feel me, get with a girl right now. I'm like, there's no point in shaving. I feel like just let it grow. Feel me? Let it grow. That's what I feel. Let that shit grow. Let it grow.
Fan of, so I'm very excited to have this video sponsored by them. Manscaped actually just hooked me up with their all-in-one perfect package 4.0, so let's check it out. First off, here we have the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. It's a cordless and waterproof trimmer with advanced skin-safe technology, so when you're shaving, it reduces nicks and cuts. Because it's waterproof, you can also trim in the shower, making it very convenient with easy cleanup. There's also LED lights on the front that show how much energy you have with 90 minutes of use with full charge, and it also comes with a wireless charging dock. You can also click the button right here on the front 3 times to enable travel lock. There's also 2 more wonderful products in the perfect package 4.0. We got the Crop Reviver and the Crop Preserver. The Crop Preserver is a ball deodorant, and the Crop Reviver is a ball toner spray. You can put a little Crop Preserver on after you shower to make sure you're smelling good throughout the day, and you can use the Crop Reviver whenever you're on the go. Manscaped also has a disposable shaving mat called the Magic Mat, which is actually pretty funny and really creative. For a limited time, you can get all of this great stuff and 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag and the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxers. And also, the travel bag is very nice. I'm thinking about taking a trip just so I can use the travel bag. So go to manscaped.com right now and use code MattyB for 20% off, free international shipping, and 2 free gifts. So check out the link in the description or the pinned comment and use code MattyB and you'll get all those cool perks. Anyways, back to the video. So the Michael Jackson wore a mask theory is a theory that spawned due to an incident where he caught on fire during a Pepsi commercial on January 27th, 1984. Really? They were filming in front of a live audience of 3,000 people, and during the 6th take, some of the pyrotechnics went off and Michael was too close to them, so his hair and jacket caught on fire. The flames were quickly put out and he was rushed to the hospital. He suffered 3rd and 2nd degree burns on his head. Because of this is what some theorists speculate Michael Jackson actually looks like. And they believe that anytime he was seen after this incident, he was actually wearing a mask or some sort of makeup to cover up his real face. So let's take a look at the evidence. So the burn incident during the Pepsi commercial was very much so real, captured on video, and was in front of a live audience, like I said. Fans said that his scalp was glowing and smoke was billowing from his head. Another piece of evidence is that MJ has been seen wearing masks or costumes like the time he was playing the mayor in his short film Ghost, which leads people to believe that he was doing a similar thing every time he left the house.
Who's weird now? Who's the freak now?
He was able to change his voice a decent bit, which adds the component to this theory that he is still alive wearing a mask, but I'll touch more on that shortly. Michael Jackson also had a very weird nose and had been rumored to wear fake noses or put makeup on it to cover it up, leading theorists to believe that it was due to the burns. On top of all of that, there's an Akon interview where he talks about going to the movies with Michael Jackson and meeting up with a stranger who had Michael's voice, because Michael was in disguise and Akon couldn't recognize him. So like I said, the theory is that after the burn incident in 1984, Michael Jackson suffered so many injuries that he had to always wear some sort of mask or makeup or disguise every time he went out in public following that event, and no one actually knew what he actually looked like. Then comes in Dave, a kid who was set on fire by his dad when he was 6 and suffered extreme burns over 90% of his body. When Dave was 7, he met Michael Jackson, who would help pay for a bunch of his surgeries, creating a long-time friendship. Theorists point out how Dave became a lot more public after Michael Jackson's death, leading people to believe that Dave was actually Michael Jackson without the mask, and the real Dave was living his life elsewhere. They point out that Dave looks somewhat similar to MJ and also has a similar voice.
Oh, it's a very interesting story, Larry.
And this is at least what all the conspiracy theorists say. I was gonna pretend to believe all these for the video, but this one is just so obviously fake, and most of the evidence is verifiably false. The fire was heavily exaggerated as it mostly affected his scalp, and here are some pictures of him in the hospital the day after the incident. His face looks just fine. He did have to wear a wig to cover up, but not a whole face mask. The theorists straight up lied about the Akon interview because Akon was talking about a disguise Michael wore to the movies, and Akon was joking about how bad it was as a disguise and that people eventually recognized him. He also broke his nose in 1979 during a dance rehearsal, so he had some plastic surgery to fix the issue, and had a few more in the following years. His nose did have a lot of issues following these surgeries, which caused many follow-up surgeries, and he had a lot of things done to cover up his nose, but a whole face mask or disguise was not one of them. It was really just a bad plastic surgery. So the theory is indeed bizarre, but not too realistic. However, this next theory is somehow even more bizarre.
Death Grips and Ariana Grande.
So this theory is that the experimental rap group Death Grips had some sort of involvement in the bombing at an Ariana Grande concert in 2017. The attack took place on May 22nd of 2017 in the Manchester Arena as fans were leaving the concert. Including the attacker, 23 people were killed and over 1,000 were injured. So what could an experimental hip-hop group like Death Grips have to do with this incident? Well, that same day, May 22nd of 2017, Death Grips released a song called Steroids. It was released at 22:09 or 10:09 p.m. The song is 22 minutes and 31 seconds long, and the Manchester bombing happened at 22:31 or 10:31 p.m.
Yo, I swear, I fucking hate conspiracy theories, because I swear they is so fucking funny that these niggas would delude themselves so much that they will literally believe this shit. They delude themselves so much in their lives that they believe this shit. Like, they actually believe this shit.
So the song was released exactly 22 minutes before the bombing. There were also 22 victims who had passed away, excluding the bomber, and the bomber was 22 years old.
Like
the song
Drake.
had lyrics like "Timeless, but I admire improvised explosives," and the bomber at the concert had used one of these IEDs, or improvised explosive devices, which is basically just a homemade bomb. Another lyric that theorists point to is "exit wounds and rabbit ears, rabbit holes that last for years." And if you aren't familiar with Ariana Grande, she had recently just released an album called Dangerous Woman, where she was wearing bunny ears in the cover, and it was a common theme in her imagery. Death Grips even had an old Twitter account called BB Poltergeist, which for the longest time only followed Ariana Grande. You've also probably noticed that the number 22 keeps popping up, and that's because 22 along with 11 and 33 are big important numbers in numerology. The bomber was a 22-year-old man from Libya, and apparently Libya's name in numerology is 22. The BB Poltergeist account I mentioned earlier also has some ties with numerology, with B meaning 2. So 22 poltergeist is essentially what the handle means, and a poltergeist is a supernatural being that can cause physical disturbances like loud noises and throwing around objects. Death Grips has also showed some interest in numerology. Their album Government Plates was surprise released 13 months, 13 days, and 13 hours after their previous album in 2013. Not only that, but their next album following the song Steroids was released 13 months later on June 22nd. This theory does go a whole lot more into occultism, which is too scary for me to Google, so I'll just play a brief clip explaining the significance of the number 13.
Wiccans, which have occult beliefs, follow the Celtic tree months, which divides the calendar into 13 separate months. Between the release of Steroids and Year of the Snitch, there were 13 full moons. Death Grips has often tied releases of their projects to various lunar occurrences.
Not that serious.
So essentially what
terrorists literally just got in the fucking building and just literally bombed the place. That's all all that happened? Why is it this?
People believe is that this was some sort of a cult ritual where Death Grips summoned some sort of supernatural power to cause a bombing. The only main issue with this theory is that the song wasn't actually released 22 minutes before the bombing, and according to Facebook, it was released at 7:11 p.m., and I doubt Death Grips was in on such a horrible terrorist attack. But this would not be a good conspiracy theory video without the mentioning of a clone theory.
I heard about this one. Kanye was a clone.
I'd like to thank Internet Anarchist for bringing this theory to my attention, as he made a great video on the topic. But anyways, people speculate that Kanye West was actually cloned, and that there are two Kanyes that we have been seeing over the past years. This is a theory that began in 2016 after Kanye had gone on various rants about Trump, Jay-Z, and many others during his St. Pablo tour. He was barely performing any actual music, leaving many fans upset. Following these viral rants, he was at his personal trainer Harley Pasternak's house when the police were called because Kanye was acting erratically. Police got there and he was taken to the UCLA Medical Center. He was then diagnosed with bipolar disorder, given meds, and canceled the rest of his tour. People took note of how Kanye looked like a shell of himself in photos following the incident. After this, he was working on an album called TurboGrafx X16, and a song from that album called UCLA was leaked. Some speculate that it was even recorded in the UCLA hospital, but I can't find any evidence for that. However, the song did have some eerie lyrics like "Welcome to UCLA, tell me how UCLA, I'm going cray," and "Take your meds, yay, go to bed, yay, get out of your head, yay, did you hear what I said, yay, I didn't say that." Really weird and eerie song. And then if you fast forward a few years, this theory pops up once more after Kanye's recent controversies. If you didn't know, Kanye made many comments about Jewish people that led to him losing partnerships and business with almost every company and brand he was working with. Following these incidents, an interview with actor Orlando Brown was released where he said this.
You guys actually realize like how there's a taller Kanye and a smaller Kanye, taller Kanye and a smaller. They're fighting for who's gonna be Kanye. They're fighting for who's gonna be Kanye, dude, right in front of you. And it's like, yo, bro, leave my brother alone.
So Orlando is claiming that there were two Kanyes,
but
he isn't new to crazy claims, so he may not be the most reliable source. After this claim made by Orlando Brown and all the controversies he was in, Kanye shared a message from his personal trainer Harley Pasternak that was quite haunting. I mentioned this guy earlier because this is the guy Kanye was with when he was first taken to the hospital and given meds for his bipolar disorder. Harley has worked with many celebrities, including many people who have died to drug-related incidents like Mac Miller and Brittany Murphy. This has led theorists to believe that Pasternak may have had a hand in these people's deaths. It doesn't help that before he was a celebrity personal trainer, he used to work for the military as a nutrition and exercise scientist where he would study medicine. He said in interviews that he had access to different sorts of drugs and he wasn't governed like everyone else. So what does this have to do with Kanye? Well, he posted a tweet with a text from Harley that reads, "I'm going to help you a couple of ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words and everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that a dumb friend of yours told you or that you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Playdates with the kids just won't be the same." Many people saw this tweet and actually took Kanye's side, believing that Harley was evil since he had put him on meds before. But this theory goes even deeper, when in December, Kanye tweeted a picture of a swastika inside the Star of David, saying he was again running for president. People were obviously upset and he was again banned from Twitter, but others pointed to it actually being a symbol for the religion called Realism. Realism is a religion that believes Earth was created by aliens called the Elohim, who are responsible for a lot of miracles around the world. However, Realism is also very passionate about human cloning, because they believe that cloning is the key to immortality. So maybe the tweeting of that symbol was a clue about him being cloned. And the final piece of evidence for this is from his Can't Tell Me Nothing freestyle during his Sunday service in 2020 when Kanye said, "The phony would clone me, just watch how they cloned me." And as for when many people think that Kanye was actually cloned, a lot of people point towards 2016 since that's when he had a big personality change and went on a bunch of rants. There was also an incident where Kanye was seen with one of his ladies who is supposedly 5'9", which would make the big Kanye, little Kanye theory seem true. But the truth is she was actually 5'4". So of course, again, this theory is pretty crazy, but the only thing I could see being a little true maybe is the fact that his trainer Harley Pasternak wanted to control him and put him on meds, because there is actually some evidence for that. Speaking of clones and weird Hollywood antics, that brings us to our next theory, which is about Lady Gaga and Lena Morgana.
Here we go. yo, this shit's so fucking stupid.
People believe that Lady
Whatever.
Gaga was in some way responsible for the death of Lina Morgana, another artist who Lady Gaga knew personally and had a very similar style. So theorists believe that Lady Gaga
Let me ask, yeah, Lady Gaga pretty much got ass killed because it was like, oh, you bitch, you, oh, fucking no.
caused her death and then took her place in the music industry. This theory does run very deep, and I'm just going to cover the key points, so let's check it out. So Lina Morgana is an artist who had been releasing music for a while,
Yeah,
and
so
then
you
around
say Lady
2006 she
Gaga
began
body on her
working
belt.
with a guy by the name of Rob Fusari. She also had a publishing deal with Sony. Not much else is known about her music career other than the fact that she was on the rise. Her MySpace page was getting a bunch of attention, her music had been on the radio, and she was also featured in a couple of TV shows. Then in 2007, Rob picked up another artist to help Lina with her music. And can you guess who that artist was? That's
Lady
right,
Gaga.
it was Lady Gaga. Originally, Lady Gaga was brought in to help Lina with her songwriting and background vocals, and apparently they made around 12 songs together. None of them were released, however, one song called Wonderland by Lina with Lady Gaga's background vocals has been leaked. After working together for about a year, on October 4th of 2008, an article was published that said, a woman believed to be in her 20s or 30s jumped from the roof of the Staten Island Hotel in Graniteville this morning, and as it would eventually turn out, the unnamed woman was 19-year-old Lina Morgana. Fans were in the dark for a while since she wasn't named until Lina's family released an official statement. Meanwhile, Lady Gaga was blowing up as a solo artist rather than a writer in the background. We aren't sure when exactly this theory spawned, but it definitely gained some attention after Lina Morgana's mom reached out to TMZ basically telling them that Lady Gaga had stole her daughter's swag, and she wanted to bring recognition to her daughter. She also sent a video that compared the similarities between the two stylistically. They had very similar outfits, similar makeup, similar styles, similar music videos, and even similar music. And all of Lina Morgana's outfits and style predated Lady Gaga's. TMZ reported that Lady Gaga said something in response along the lines of, she feels awful that a woman died at such a young age, but they hardly knew each other. Which is really weird for her to say when there are multiple sources stating that they made a ton of music together. So because Lady Gaga eventually took on Lina Morgana's musical identity, people speculate that for some reason Lady Gaga had Lina Morgana killed or even sacrificed her so she could become a star. Really, the only evidence fueling this is the Paparazzi music video by Lady Gaga and a statement from someone who claims to be Lina's aunt. So in the Paparazzi video released in 2009, Lady Gaga is seen being thrown over the edge of a balcony, which a lot of people believe is a callback to how Morgana died. They also point out how Lina's death was kind of suspicious since she was apparently dancing or exercising before jumping off of the roof. Gaga is also seen in the music video wearing a similar outfit to the one Lina Morgana had been seen wearing, and the video was very weirdly focused on death. Then there's also a statement from someone who is allegedly Lina's aunt that reads, we, Lina's family, do not believe that she had an intention to die. We as a family do not believe that Lina committed suicide. This theory also goes even deeper into a bunch of like satanic and spiritual and weird occult type of things. People think that Lady Gaga is involved in satanic rituals or that she absorbed Lina Morgana's soul and a bunch of other weird creepy stuff like that. The biggest issue with this theory though is that Lady Gaga wasn't even in New York at the time because she was actually in LA getting ready to leave to film her Poker Face music video. So it's very unlikely Lady Gaga was involved in Lina Morgana's death. Like I said though, this theory does go a lot deeper, so I'll leave a link in the description to a video that covers basically the whole situation. But now let's talk about a conspiracy theory that has just been reignited.
Drake and X. Oh yeah.
The theory that
this shit literally been going. This whole Drake and X theory literally been going on literally since the day X fucking died. People listen, Drake had nothing to do with X's death. Niggas just saw X getting money in Florida, aka, you know, Broward County. They just saw his ass. I bet, like niggas do. We on his ass, called they niggas, hey boy, this rap nigga boy, he just pulled out this much money, boy, he rich as hell, yeah boy, he up here, he lacking like a motherfucker, boy, he ain't got no security, boy, he get this nigga got a lot of money, boy, nice car, boy, he lacking, boy, grab the pipes, grab the mask, let's go, woo, and they robbed him. That's just all that happened. That shit happens all the time in the trenches with niggas with money. If niggas see you in the trenches with money, you look nice, still got a nice car, you gonna get robbed. You gonna get robbed. That's just what the fuck happens. You gonna get fucking robbed. You gonna get robbed and killed, or hopefully, and thankfully, hopefully you just get robbed and that's it. But sometimes motherfuckers get robbed and killed if you don't give this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep, people. Drake did not give a fuck about X. to set a hit out on them. Like, it was not that fucking
Drake
deep.
is responsible for the death of XXX
Of all people that Drake could set a hit out on, why X? Of all people. You see what I'm saying, boy?
It's nothing new at all, but recently it's been reignited, and this theory has always interested me, so let's look into it. In 2016, X's song "Look at Me" was blowing up on SoundCloud while he was in jail. Drake apparently found the song and attempted to reach out to X, but couldn't get into contact with him. So in January of 2017, Drake teased a song called KMT, where he was using the exact same flow as X did on "Look at Me." This sparked a huge beef that really helped jumpstart X's career. X was talking crazy about Drake on Twitter for a while, and then Drake addressed the accusations in an interview where he said he didn't know who X was until he was accused of taking his flow. Then X went on live and continued talking crazy about Drake. The beef then died down for a while, despite there being some clear animosity between the two. Then in February of 2018, X posted on his story, "If anyone tries to kill me, it was Drake." However, he took it down and claimed that he was hacked, which would make sense since he was recently praising Drake for God's plan. Then in May of 2018, Drake released a song called "I'm Upset," where he said, "SMS, XXX, that's the only time I ever shoot below the neck. Why you keep on shooting if you know that friend is dead? That's the only kind of shit that gets you some respect." The following month, X was murdered while he was shopping for motorcycles because the murderers were trying to take his Louis Vuitton bag, which had $50,000 in it. I still remember the day that this happened, and everyone on my Snapchat immediately became a detective. It didn't help when shortly after, Drake released his album Scorpion with the song Mob Ties on it, which had lyrics like "Sick of these people, hire some help, get rid of these people," and "Louis bags in exchange for body bags." That last line does seem like a direct reference to X's situation since he was killed over a Louis Vuitton bag. Then 4 months later, when the Sicko Mode video was released with Travis Scott and Drake, there was a scene where it looked like an X lookalike was being crushed by a rock. Following this, conspiracy theories died down for about 4 years until Drake released his collab album with 21 Savage. And on the song On BS, Drake said, "Maybe I should do a 20, maybe I should break that 20, do a 10, maybe I should break that 10, do a 5, then if it gets live, do a 5 again." People speculate that when you add these numbers up in a certain way, it makes 30, which is XXX in Roman numerals. Following that line, he said, if he held his tongue on that live, he'd be alive again. Like I said earlier, X had talked crazy on live about Drake, so many people assumed that this line was a direct diss to X. And what reignited these conspiracies even more is when Drake was called to show up at court. If you don't know what I'm talking about or don't know much about the case for X's murder
was niggas got charged now, though. The niggas
recently,
officially
and I'm pretty sure it's
now.
over now and the murderers got sentenced, but Drake was called to show up, and he didn't, but his lawyer eventually did. His lawyer pointed out how there was zero evidence that Drake had even had any communication with the killers, and the judge said that Drake was innocent. So the bulk of this theory is just lyrics and subliminals. However, this next theory is all speculation, but has spawned urban legends for nearly half of a century.
Love roller coaster.
This is a 3-for-1 conspiracy theory because there are multiple theories that have spawned from the song Love Roller Coaster by the Ohio Players. The song was released in 1975 and became a #1 hit. It was also eventually covered by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. However, during the song at about 1 minute and 24 seconds, there's a faint scream that can be heard in the background. This scream has spawned many conspiracy theories, so let's talk about them. One of the most common explanations for this scream is that there was an incident with the model who was on the album cover. In the album cover, she's being covered in honey. However, theorists suggest that she was actually covered in some sort of acrylic substance for the purpose of the photo shoot. The substance then got stuck on her body, and while people were trying to get it off, it ripped off parts of her flesh. For some reason, someone caught the scream on tape and decided to use it in the song. There's also a bunch more theories revolving around this idea. A spin-off of the one I just said is rather than the scream being caused by her flesh being ripped off, she was furious with the Ohio Players manager and busted into the studio while they were recording the song. She was demanding compensation from the manager and threatening to sue, so he stabbed her to death to keep her quiet, and her scream was caught on the original song recording. But somehow no one noticed it, and it made its way to the final cut. A third theory is very similar to the second one I just mentioned. Instead of being at a recording studio, the band was recording the song at one of the members' apartments. While they were jamming and recording, an intruder broke into a neighboring apartment and murdered someone, which was captured on the song. However, since the band members likely were singing and had headphones on, they never heard the scream. Like the last theory, somehow the scream made its way to the final cut of the song without anyone noticing. Like I said, there are many spin-offs of these theories, like someone was killed in a nearby recording studio, or the model was burned by the hot honey and screamed, and that's where it came from. However, one of the members of the Ohio Players at the time, Jimmy Diamond Williams, offered up the following explanation decades later. He said, "There's a part of the song where there's a breakdown. It's guitars, and it's right before the second verse, and Billy Beck does one of those inhaling type screeches like Minnie Riperton did to reach her high note, or Mariah Carey does to go octaves above. The DJ made this crack, and it swept the country. People were asking us, did you kill this girl in the studio? The band took a vow of silence because you sell more records that way. So the only question is, was Mr. Williams telling the truth, or was it simply a cover-up story? The world may never know. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Other than that, this has been Matty Balls, and I will see you guys next time.
How many balls, folks? Matty fucking balls, nigga. Matty fucking balls, nigga. Big Matty balls, nigga. Big Matty balls, you hear me? 4-0. Alright, chat.